Welcome to the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show. Jeff, DiVeronica and Steve Bradley bringing you some cross-country champions here from Fairport. The Red Raiders swept sectionals in Class A. The boys and girls teams both winning. We have, and not only did the teams win, but we have the two individual Class A champions with us, both juniors. Ari, you're a junior, right?
Yep.
Junior Ari Reback and junior Jake Passalugo, the girls and boys champions respectively. Their teams led their teams to the title. We'll tell you about all the top runners for Fairport. And also with us, boys coach in his 21st season, Sean Vanlaeken, and Christy Moore, a former Fairport runner and championship runner herself 20 years ago on a title team for the Red Raiders. She joins us too. Welcome to you all. Coach Moore, I didn't ask, how long have you been the head coach at Fairport?
This is year 10 for me.
Year 10. Well, obviously the programs are in great shape. 4 out of the last 6 years, the boys have won sectionals, 2 out of the last 3 for the girls. So tremendous success. Coach Vanlaeken, since you're the most tenured coach in the room, I guess, what was the program like when you got to Fairport 2 decades ago? And how have you established the Red Raiders as such a powerhouse?
Well, I inherited the program from Coach Rick Guido, who had been there for many years and had a very successful program. When I took over, we had a really young team. And I think in the time that I've been there, I've really just tried to make it a very welcoming place for athletes where, athletes of all abilities and backgrounds can be part of the team. I think the thing that makes us special is that we just have a great culture of hard work and success and supporting each other. We take a lot of pride in that. The other thing is we take a lot of pride in the depth of our team. Jake's had a fabulous year, but also this year is probably one of the deepest teams I've coached in my 28 years coaching cross country.
Ari, let's talk about your season. Steve, Ari finished first, obviously, in sectionals, and she beat Haley Smith of Rush by 9 seconds for the sectional title. Ari, first, congratulations on winning sectionals. And tell me about your rivalry with Haley. You've had some close finishes against her this year.
Thanks. Yeah. She beat me in the last league meet of the season and at counties. But I actually have talked to her a lot after races. We're taking the same bus down to Fed. She's really nice. Yeah, I don't know. She's I really like all of the other cross country runners. It's just a really positive group.
Do you change your strategy up at all? Why did you you were just better on the day at sectionals than she was?
Honestly, I don't really know what happened. I kind of just knew when to go. It was just I think it's just a lot of racing experience. She's only 1 year younger than me, but I think I've probably been on the team for 2 more, or racing for a team for 2 more years than she has. And I think it's come down to that.
Coach Moore, one thing that I've noticed watching cross country over the years, and Ari alluded to it, is the camaraderie and the companionship. It's an individual sport, it's a team sport, but it's also a community where people cheer for each other. And how healthy does that make the relationships that are built through cross country?
Absolutely. I think the girls in the Fairport team and the boys in the Fairport team are all really close just as teammates. But across Section 5, the girls get to know each other quite a bit, racing. Coach DeMay, the Russian Regatta coach, actually complimented Ari after the league meet against them, just saying that she was a good sport. And there were a couple of spots in the race where Haley could have gone the wrong way, and Ari said, no, it's this way, and made sure that she stayed on track. And Haley went on to win the race, but he just kind of complimented Ari with just good sportsmanship and being a good competitor, a good runner. And I think that's true for all of cross country kids. You're working so hard. There's so much, effort and dedication to the sport. So I think there's just a lot of respect, mutual respect for the other competitors, I would say.
Coach Moore, go ahead, Steve.
One thing I noticed too, Coach Moore, is it seems that people cheer as hard for the people that finish first as the people that are bringing up the back of the pack. And you don't see that in every other sport where people encourage folks like that.
Definitely. I would say that's definitely true. And it's nice in cross country because everyone races. There's no, you're not sitting on the bench. There's no playing time. Everyone gets a chance to start. So that's a really nice part of the sport too.
Let me ask you, Coach Moore, about Ari and her strengths as a runner, as a competitor. Nice to see you again, Jake. Hopefully you'll stick with us here. What makes her such a great runner?
Ari's always been a phenomenal runner. We did pull her up to varsity in 7th grade, which is very unusual. But she'd already been running the Rochester road racing circuit, so we'd seen her a lot in local 5Ks, 10Ks, and we knew she had so much talent. She kind of mentioned this earlier, but I think one thing that's really grown for her is her racing strategy, and just her ability to really execute races really well. I think sectionals, she just kind of felt the pace slow a little bit, and after the first mile, I mean, it went out really fast, like 5:30 pace, but she kind of felt a point in the race where she knew that if she made a move, she could really take the lead, and she followed through and did that. So I would say I'm watching her grow from a 7th grader until now. She's always been talented, and she's always been really hardworking, but her strategy and her ability to really execute races has grown a lot.
So, Coach Vanlaeken, can you break down Jake's success and progress for us, similar to what Coach Moore just did?
Yeah, so Jake was a freshman on our team during the COVID season, and I knew he was a really good runner right away, but because we were only able to race like very small meets all year, it was really hard to get an idea of like where he really shook out in the rank for the other 9th graders. But last year we had a really strong team. He ended up being our 2nd or 3rd guy on a team that lost sectionals to Webster by 4 points. And then just over the course of the track season last year, he kept getting better and better. And then this year we have a 3,200 meter time trial, and he ran so fast I was kind of shocked. And he's just had a really great career. Jake's strength is really his passion to compete. He's always asking me to like take us to the most competitive races, and he just wants to run against the best kids to test himself. So, that's kind of like something I think is rare. He's not afraid of anybody, and he's not afraid to go out and do things and try things.
Let's take a quick break. Come back. We're going to talk about some of the other Red Raiders on both teams that helped you win championships. Also talk about what's next for both of your championship teams as the fall season winds down, but there's still a lot to run for, so to speak. You're watching us right here on YouTube, Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show.
The best 3 things here at McQuaid are definitely the sports, the brotherhood, and the service to community. I think that's a really big, important thing that McQuaid stresses, which is part of creating a better and great man. You definitely feel a connection with your fellow students here. It's being all guys school. You're able to relate to each other on a personal level, and everyone's very welcoming here with open arms and willing to be your friend.
While we celebrate 140 years of serving our community, the kind of delicious joy that lasts a lifetime, we look forward to serving you for 140 more. With hardworking, wholehearted, passionate people who will help shape new memories for generations to come.
You don't choose to get hurt at work, but you can choose the workers' comp attorneys at Connors and Ferris to fight for your money and medical benefits you deserve.
With over 20 years of industry experience, we will give your case our undivided attention so that you and your family can focus on your recovery.
So call Connors and Ferris, the workers' comp attorneys dedicated to fighting for injured workers' rights.
Connors and Ferris, your workers' comp attorneys.
Local McDonald's operators care about our local schools, teams, and student athletes. That's why they support the return of high school athletics in the Rochester area and around the state. See you before or after the big game at McDonald's. Welcome back, Section 5. Game on!
Why do you exercise? To look better? To feel better? To drop a few pounds? To train for an event? To defy age? Or to keep your ability to say yes to the things you love to do? Whatever motivates you, G&G Fitness Equipment is here to get you there. Treadmills, ellipticals, rowers, bikes, home gyms, and accessories. We'll pair you with the right equipment, teach you how to use it, and be there every step of your fitness journey. G&G Fitness. Your goal is our goal.
Welcome back to the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show. Jeff DiVeronica and Steve Bradley, our 20th year covering Section 5 sports right here. Thanks to all of our sponsors who make that happen. And thanks to the Fairport Red Raiders. You don't know this, but we're recording is actually pretty late on a weeknight, and we appreciate them doing this. We got 2 championship teams, both Class A sectional champions. We got Ari Reback and Coach Christy Moore from the girls team, and Coach Sean Vanlaeken and Jake Passalugo from the boys team. Jake's back with us with the video. Steve, why don't you take it away?
Jake, first of all, congratulations and record-setting performance at sectionals down at Letchworth. Tell us about that race and what went well for you that day.
Coach Vanlaeken told me, sit for the first mile because he knows how impatient I am when I race. I just want to go out there and, just go from the gun. But he told me to be patient, so I was patient. And then those last 2 miles, I ran it hard and, I ran to the ground, and it was just a fun experience.
Is that something you've had to work on as a young runner to know when is the right time? Or, are there times where you want to go out fast?
Yeah, so I definitely am super impatient when it comes to racing. Like McQuaid, I just ran right. I was like pretty much leading. It was me and Colin running right next to each other. So, Coach keeps telling me be patient in the races, and, I try and listen. And yeah, that's just something I got to work on.
So Jake, every course is different, right? Sometimes there's the big hill at the end. Sometimes it's more of a flat course. How does your strategy change depending on which course you're racing?
My strategy really doesn't change. I really just approach every race the same, where I just know that I just have to be patient, just sit, and then give it what you got the last mile, 800 meters. So I just run every race the same pretty much.
Coach, I want to ask you about some of the other runners, Coach Vanlaeken, I should say. Some of your other runners, you guys went 1, 2, 8, 13, and 14 at sectionals. Owen Willard, runner-up. Landon Reuter, a name we recognize for sure from Fairport across country and running. Connor Roser and Brady Colson. You talked about the deepest team. Have you had a lot of movement in your lineup, or have these been the top 5 most of the year?
Most of the season, our top 3 was pretty set with Jake, Owen, and then Mike Turano. But after that, there was a lot of changes. We've had a different 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th guy. In our time trial, we went 12 or 13 guys deep, and our coaching staff knew from the beginning of the season we were going to have to make some really tough decision about who was going to be the final 7 runners at our championship competitions.
And
Ari,
go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, Ari, I was interested in your race strategy too. Jake just told us a minute or so ago that he has the same strategy every race. How does your strategy differ, or does it also stay the same race to race?
It really depends on who I'm running with. For league meets, if I was just kind of going to be alone, I would just kind of take it out and just sit in the front and just go for it. This year, I just tried to go for a lot of records to keep my mind entertained. And then for invites, usually I would just sit with the top pack and see what I can do in the last mile. It really depends on who I'm with and conditions of the course.
The other top runners who finished in sectionals for Fairport were 8th place, Zoe Marcus, 13th, Hannah Kassler, 15th was Matea Keller, and then 25th, Helena Painting, if I can say that properly. Coach, this lineup, I'll ask you the same question. Has it been a pretty stable lineup, or have you had a lot of movement throughout the year?
Kind of the same as what Coach Vanlaeken said. We've had some top girls that have been pretty consistent. Ari has been our lead runner all season. And Zoe Marcus has also been one of our top runners. Hannah Kassler, very consistent as our 3rd runner. But behind them, we've had a lot of change. Definitely hard for us to decide who our top 7 varsity runners would be at these championship races as well. We've had a young team too. Matea is just a freshman, and Hannah Kassler and Helena Painting are sophomores. So definitely some people coming back next year, and just a young team still learning.
You're a Fairport graduate. You ran track and cross country there. A, what's it like to coach at your alma mater? And B, who were some of your running influences as a youngster that got you to fall in love with the sport? Because you don't coach it if you don't love it.
I love coaching at my alma mater. My assistant coach, Katie Druso, now Katie Gadu, her married name, was my best friend in high school. And she just joined our coaching staff last year. I've had some great assistant coaches before her, but she's been awesome. It's been really fun to coach with her. We graduated the same year, so it's just exciting to do that together with her. I've had all kinds of coaching influences. Coach Vanlaeken's been a great mentor for me. starting to coach in the program. In high school, Kathy Brown was my cross country coach, and Rick Guido was my track coach. And they both obviously helped me fall in love with the sport. Before I started coaching varsity, I coached modified 4 or 5 years with Charlie Lau, at Fairport, and he was, really great too. And I think I probably honestly might not have started coaching if it wasn't for him. He called me up in the summer. He knew I was hired to start teaching, and he asked me if I would coach with him. And I would say one more big one for me was Mike Woods. I've been at Geneseo for college, and he was incredibly influential in my life.
Is he? I know they have a tremendous program. Is he still the coach there?
No, actually, it's my husband now. Dan Moore. He went to Geneseo, and we graduated a year apart, and took over the program a few years ago. And they're actually in Michigan now for nationals. So exciting weekend for them too.
One of my colleagues, James Brennan, his daughter is a freshman on the Geneseo team. So,
very good.
So nice connection there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and Coach Vanlaeken hails from another great running community, Steve Newark. He had some great influences too. So, Coach Vanlaeken, I'll ask you a similar question. Who were your big influences?
Joe Contario was the first person I coached with, and he just is an amazing influence for me. Just so good with kids and such a passion for young adults. And I actually coached at Penfield for a brief stint in the late 90s, and then Dave Hennessy. I learned a ton from him, and he's just like a legend in Section 5 coaching. So those, I would say, were my two big influences. It's been really great to coach like parallel with Christy, and like she's such a great supporter. Just I've been really lucky to have good people to work with.
So Jake, when you run a fall sport in Western New York, Jake, you start out and it's 90 degrees, and you end your season when it's whatever. I just was wondering, Jake, about what was your off-season training and what kind of mileage did you put in to prepare for all these conditions?
I'd always wake up. My off-season training, I'd always wake up early in the morning because I'm not one of the people who like to run in the heat. I always just get up at like 6 or 7, get over with. My mileage this summer wasn't the usual that I usually do because I got injured in the beginning of the summer, so I had to alter that a little bit. But I definitely think that it still paid off.
So Jeff, if I could follow that real quick, Coach said in the trials you came in and you were so strong and you're coming off an injury. How did you manage that? Because sometimes when folks are coming off an injury, they push it too hard and they end up hurting themselves worse. So how did you manage the injury and also find a way to build your strength?
I really got injured in the very beginning of the summer. The time trial was very late, but I definitely was just super excited for the season. So I just wanted to prove myself and see where I was.
I know Jake's dad is a runner. I have a friend. We have a mutual friend. Your dad is a mutual friend of mine. With one of my friends. Ari, I did some research and found out an old DNC article that, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, you were winning 5K races against adults. So who got you into running at such a young? My daughter's 9. There's no way she'd go run a 5K. But who got you involved? And I guess why do you love it so much?
So one of my cousins is actually a pretty big runner. Well, she kind of got me into it. I saw her doing all of these crazy half marathons. She's an ultra marathon runner out in Colorado now. She'll do around the canyon and back, and she's the one who really got me into it. And then I started doing Girls on the Run, and then it just kind of spiraled.
Yeah. Do you love it? Do you run year round? Do you run track?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cross country, indoor and outdoor. Yeah.
Okay, 3-sporter. And how about a 3-seasoner? Jake, how about you? Do you do indoor and outdoor too?
Yeah, I do.
Is this something both of you young people want to do in college?
Yeah,
definitely. Okay. Being recruited yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. If your coach probably is recruiting you now, think about it, Christy. Right?
My husband is very interested in having both of them run a Geneseo.
Boy, the NCAA's really got a real strange issue there. No, I'm just kidding. Well, no, obviously. So let's start with Steve. Let's find out.
Well, I'm actually a Geneseo grad too, so there we go. And then one of our runners, Mike Trano, just committed to Geneseo for next year. So
it's a great program. It's a great school, great program.
Yeah.
So what's next for the girls team, Coach Moore? We recorded this on a Thursday, and I know this upcoming weekend, what's going on with your squad?
Tomorrow morning, we are leaving for the Federation Championships down in Bowdoin Park. Our whole team is going together. And then the following weekend, Ari, Zoe Marcus, and Madison Hansen, our grader, are all running at the Nike Regionals that are at the same place.
Okay, and Coach Vanlaeken, how about the boys squad?
So this weekend, one of our runners, Mike Trano, is going down to Federations. He missed some meets due to injury, so we want to have him get one more race in to get sharp. And then the following weekend after Thanksgiving, we're taking our whole team down to run the championship race at the regional meet. So hopefully we'll be prepared to do something down there.
Well, we wish you all the best of luck. Thanks for making this happen. I know you both have busy weekends and busy weeks ahead, so appreciate you getting in Fairport, and wish you the best of luck moving forward. So thank you all for being here, everybody. Thanks.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thanks.
For my co-host Steve Bradley and our producer Joe Brott, thanks for watching us right here on the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show on Rock Sports Now.